There we go. Start from the beginning. First of all, Ash and Deborah, thanks so much for giving us the opportunity just to talk about something we're real excited about, as we know the folks at Sustainable Jersey City are excited as well, and that's community solar. And I kind of want to walk everybody through how that works and go over a couple different things, but I want to commend everyone who's here tonight for getting involved for two reasons. Number one, you can't be doing anything more valuable for your own community than addressing climate change and emissions and some of the things Amanda's going to talk about, some of the things that Deborah was just speaking about. And second of all, you should never stop learning. And this is just a great opportunity to learn and to grow. And I think it's great that everyone's here tonight. As far as being involved with Sustainable Jersey City, we have nonprofit partners, but the knowledge that Deborah and Ash bring to the table in all that we're beginning to do, and the connections that they have, and the folks that they've already introduced us to in Jersey City has been absolutely invaluable. So thank you to both of you and to the organization. So let me kind of kick this off.
We love Solar Landscape.
Thank you, Deborah. Let me just tell you, because I always think it's important that you know, like, where are we going with this? So the first thing is that there's great news surrounding solar energy in New Jersey. And I want to, Yvette from our team is on our call, Yvette Viasu. She's our Director of Community Relations, essentially. And Yvette's a graduate of Montclair and the Sustainability Institute that they have there. And I have to tell you, I'm the oldest person in my organization by far. Renewable energy is a young person's business. Our CEO is 34 years old. And our revenue from different projects and everything else might be $50 or $60 million this year. This was built by two people, one of whom was an electrician, and the other who was in law school, was out in Colorado, was finding out about green energy during his legal studies. And they were best friends growing up, and they decided, you know, let's do something. We can actually make a difference here. That was 2012. We have over 100 employees here, and we're doing more solar in New Jersey than anyone. It is a young person's business. So you're excited about this because you're here. Stay excited about this, because this is a great opportunity to learn today and potentially to look at some things that might impact your future. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what we're doing in terms of helping educate people, along with, of course, what Deborah and Ash are doing, and then just a little bit about the future. And we're going to try and wrap everything up in maybe 25 minutes or so, and then give time for some questions. So as most of you may know, New Jersey has an energy master plan, and really the headline of the energy master plan is that New Jersey wants to be 50% renewable by 2035 and 100% renewable by 2050. Okay? So the governor passed and the legislature passed the Clean Energy Act in 2018, but we're now starting to see some of the good things that they put into that bill that are coming to fruition with community solar, which we want to talk about. But what the governor did in May is he just came out with some actual real life things that the state's going to do to make this happen. So it's great to say we're going to be 100% renewable. We'd love to say Jersey City itself is going to be 100% renewable, but to Deborah's point, how's that going to happen? Is it going to be solar on rooftops? Is it going to be a solar farm somewhere that's going to power the community? So what the governor did is he put some real numbers around that. And one of the things that he said, which I think is kind of interesting, is that there were going to be 7,500 megawatts of offshore wind power by 2035. So those great big windmills that you see, if you ever look and see what they're doing in Denmark, or if you go down to Atlantic City, you're going down the Parkway and you start to look up the left, you see those windmills, or out in California, if you're driving to Palm Springs, there's all these windmills. That's coming to New Jersey. So I would expect in the next 5-10 years, as you're going down a beach, you may, in different parts in Jersey, look out and see these windmills out there. That's happening in New Jersey. Our state is completely committed to becoming 100% renewable. So this was the Energy Master Plan. The law was passed in 2018, the legislation was passed, and here's the good news. The governor cut the ribbon on the first community solar projects in New Jersey. Those are our projects that Solar Landscape built in Perth Amboy. And what he said was, climate change is a reality we must face, not with fear and apprehension, but with an understanding that the clean energy economy is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for New Jersey. He is the green governor. For those of you who don't know, and probably this won't surprise you, if you looked at a map of the United States and see which states are most green, they're on the coasts. Probably not surprising, right? New York and New Jersey and Maryland is doing some good things now, in Delaware, Virginia, and then of course on the West Coast with California. New Jersey is 7th in terms of our capacity for solar. When you think about such a small state without a whole lot of land to use, that's good stuff. And we're really, really starting to take off. What the governor also pointed out, and I think this is what Deborah said, and I can't overemphasize this, and I'm so glad she said it. It's not just good energy policy. The whole idea about community solar is access for all. Everyone should have the opportunity to do this. So when the governor and the legislature first went about putting together a community solar program, which New Jersey had not had previously, the whole idea was environmental justice, access for all, energy equity. How do you make that happen in a state where we've never had that before? So I want to show you exactly what this looks like. There's a new way and an old way to go green in New Jersey. The old way, probably most of the people on the Zoom call are familiar with, right? Solar panels on rooftops. So you drive along and sometimes you look up and say, they look pretty cool. And other times I know I've looked at it and said, that's not a choice I would have made. Boy, that really looks terrible there. But that was the way that folks did solar in New Jersey. You put the solar panels on your roof and the energy was delivered to your home. It's expensive to do. Typically, there's a contract. You're either buying the solar panels yourself and financing them, or the solar company is buying them, and what they're going to do is put you in a contract to sell you electricity with the panels that they own on your home. There's maintaining the panels, there's selling the house and having to sell the contract that you have along with the house. So there's some good, of course, it's great for the environment, but there's some downside. And I think one of the bigger issues is it didn't provide access for all. I can't afford solar panels, I can't do it. I live in an apartment or a high rise, I can't do it. I live in a retirement home or in one of the housing authority properties, I can't do it. So that's what New Jersey was looking to address. So here's the new way. Companies like mine are looking at big industrial and commercial rooftops, and we're putting solar panels on the roof, but we're not powering the building. Instead of powering the building itself, we're sending the electricity to PSE&G. And then what happens is people within the community in which the solar project are built have the opportunity to go online and subscribe to the project. Certainly not everyone has to do it. It's not an opt-out like some energy aggregation plans. It's purely optional. You can do it or not do it. And truly, you go online and that's how easy it is. So let me take a step back for a second. So if we look at that big rooftop in the middle, why would a commercial business allow their rooftop to be used to power the community? And Deborah said it earlier. The big reason, believe it or not, is ESG. It's environmental sustainability governance. If you look on most major corporations and you look on their website today, you will see that they have ESG goals that they're trying to achieve. So now, for example, Duke Realty, who did those two projects that the governor cut the ribbon on their website, they have press releases. They talk about how they're working within their communities to help and about ESG. That's one. The second is we're going to pay them a great big lease payment to be on their roof. So we're paying them, we're a tenant on their roof. And the way that it works in New Jersey is those panels are going to be up there for 20 years, providing electricity to these homes. Now, here's the cool thing for the subscribers. No fee to sign up, no fee to unsubscribe. So I can be in 1 month and out the next. That's the way Solar Landscape works. No long-term contracts at all, and guaranteed discounts every month. So let's think about this for a second, and I won't spend a lot of time on other slides like I am on this slide. The beauty here is without solar panels on my rooftop, by going on a website, I can enroll for solar energy, guarantee myself that I'm going to save money and never be locked into that. So now apartments, high rises, anyone in Jersey City that wants to be 100% green can do it with community solar.
So what we're talking about, Kevin, this is a form of, if everybody, because people understand the concept of crowdsourcing solar. We're crowdsourcing this, right? Right, folks? We're getting behind this. You want to put your hand into it. You want to crowdsource making this happen.
So the state is as Deborah said, there's a 3-year pilot program going out. It's very competitive. Companies like ours are very, everyone would love to do community solar, but you have to find someone that's willing to do it. And then you're competing against other companies. The state is giving preferences, probably won't surprise you, to rooftops and brownfields. There's not a lot of land in New Jersey, so they don't want farms. Okay, so brownfield, landfills, great. Rooftops on big industrial, fantastic. What the state says, remember, energy equity, right? Environmental justice is 51% of the electricity must go to LMI customers. After 3 years, New Jersey will have a full-time program. And what they're going to do is look at best practices based on what their experience was in the first year. So in the first year, the state allocated 75 megawatts. So for solar projects.
Kevin, explain to people what LMI is.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Deborah. LMI is low to moderate income customers. So customers what would fall into low to moderate income, you might think, oh, those people who, are below $30,000 a year or the poverty level or something. It's not. In fact, they're pretty liberal. If you have a few children, you can be making $80,000 or $90,000 a year, and you can still qualify as a low to moderate income customer. Low to moderate income customers today get more of a discount than folks who aren't. We're going to talk about that in a second, but thanks, Steph. So LMI is low to moderate income. So in year one, the state allocated 75 megawatts. They rolled it out slowly and wanted to see how we would do. If you think about what that means for us as we're putting solar panels on big rooftops, think about a Target or a BJ's Wholesale. We did a lot of, we did all the BJ's Wholesales in New Jersey, our company built. But that would be a little bit more than a megawatt. So think about maybe 75 Costco's or 75 Target stores if we were doing all rooftop. That's how many they allocated. There were 252 applications and 45 were approved. The state was so pleased with the way things went that they actually doubled the capacity for year two. So 150 megawatts for year two. Because of COVID, the application process got slowed down and applications went in February 5th. So we don't know what the results of round two are going to be. And that's going to impact Jersey City a little bit. And I'm going to explain to you how in a moment.
Kevin, can you give people, because this is a little nebulous, right? So what's the equivalent of 150 megawatts? How many homes?
Yeah, that's about where we're going to go on the next slide.
Okay, great.
All right, so 150 megawatts. So my point is that they doubled the capacity, and we don't know what they're going to do in year three. Okay, so in the first year, these are the projects that my company was working on. So that's what I want to chat about a little bit in terms of what we're doing, what that means to the environment, and what that means in terms of how many homes we're going to power. So these are the different projects that we were doing. These are the projects down here in Perth Amboy that the governor cut the ribbon on. They're operational. The amount of rooftop space that these on equals 33 football fields. And these particular projects are enough to power 3,000 homes. In round two, after we're done round two, we will be somewhere between 25 and 30,000 homes in New Jersey that we're powering with community solar. And again, that's just the beginning.
When do round two projects come online?
Probably the fall, Deborah. We again, February.
So the fall of this year.
Yeah, some of them
very exciting.
Yeah, I think they'll be built in the fall of this year. They'll probably come online sometime before the holidays and then the beginning of 2021. We were delayed a little bit because of COVID. Okay, so these projects, just the ones that we built, are going to prevent 17,500 metric tons of CO2 emissions, which Amanda will talk about a little bit, from entering New Jersey's atmosphere. What we're doing here is the same as if we were able to take 4,500 cars off the road, which that we could, right? 4,500 cars off the road every single year. So that metric tons of CO2, that's in every single year that we're preventing that from going into the atmosphere, because PSE&G no longer has to make that electricity that we're making. Now, I just want to tell you a little bit about, just for a second, about what we do, because I want to talk about jobs that are available in this particular arena. So my company is a little different than other companies in New Jersey because we develop, we design, we build We're currently subscribing, and then we operate and we maintain these buildings. There's a lot of different job opportunities. So there's sales, there's engineering, there's legal, there's finance, there's community engagement, there's technical support, people up on the roof. We're going to talk about some of the training that we do there, because some of you at some point in time may decide to get involved in that. The way that projects get approved are through community engagement, because one of the parts of the application is, are you engaged in your local community? So the work that we're doing with Sustainable Jersey City and these other organizations is real important as far as the state is concerned. They don't just want solar developers putting on solar and leaving the community. Who are you working with? How are you working them? And how are you going to continue to work within that community to educate and help? So these are just some of the organizations: Boys and Girls Club, the Edison Job Corps, NAACP, of course, SJC, and some housing authorities, et cetera, that we got letters of support. And actually, Deborah, you may be surprised about this, but we got a resolution from 25 municipalities, including Jersey City.
Ah, how good. How very good.
They said it can be done.
But I'm pumped.
Yeah, exactly. So that was good stuff. But that helps when they're assessing who they're going to give these approvals to. This is how simple it is. Deborah talked about this. Is how simple it is. You go online. If you live in Jersey City or any of the areas where we have these projects, are you a PSE&G customer? You click yes. You fill in your name, you fill in your address, you fill in your PSE&G account number. And if you're low to moderate income, if you want to qualify for low to moderate income, and there's a list there of who qualifies, you fill a little additional information about that. You click go, and you are now subscribed, and you will begin to get clean solar energy. You want to unsubscribe the next month, you unsubscribe. That's how simple it is. The subscription process takes about 5 minutes to do. So what we believe, Deborah, do you want me to go over this, what we're doing with SJC, or no?
Yeah, I think that it's important.
Okay. So what we've done is,
I mean, we love it, so why not?
Okay. What we've done is, for those organizations who truly wanted to have a partnership and help, and we understood their place within the community and how important it was, we've brought them on as partners to educate, because we feel like if stakeholders know more about this, because when you look at this, you say, well, why wouldn't somebody? I'm saving money, I'm helping the environment, I'm not locked in. And the reason is, when people find out about it and understand it, they do enroll. But it's about the education process, right? So what we're doing with Sustainable Jersey City is, for every person that enrolls, we're giving the person who enrolls a $100 gift card just for coming on board. And we're also making a $100 contribution to Sustainable Jersey City so they can continue to do the good work that they're doing, which, if you've looked at some of those projects, you'll see all that they're doing within the community. Okay?
Yeah, and I want to say something about this. There are other project developers that we're not doing business with, that we have had, it's more difficult, because administratively, transactionally, blah, blah, blah. It's a very easy, and it's our pleasure, and it's our mission, frankly, to do educational outreach and advocacy work like this. So for Solar Landscape to come behind us and say, we kind of want to give you a little project management bonus for all that educational outreach that you're doing. That's our pleasure. And it shows up that Solar Landscape is a pleasure for us to work with. We love them. I'm standing up. I'm not in my chair anymore. This is one of the best relationships we've had in community education in years. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So here's a nice thing. I think it's probably 5.2 or 5.3% of New Jersey is powered by solar at this point. So yeah, we're making tremendous strides, but there's so much more to do. So the idea of being able to continue to partner and get as much of Jersey City subscribed as we can is great. We know we're with the right organization to do that, and we can continue to give back in this way. And Deborah, we'll talk offline. We want to do, you and I talked about some things with the trees. We want to do more than just this.
That's nice.
So we've started to do a little bit of work in terms of some education that we've done, and some information that we've sent out along with Sustainable Jersey City, and we'll continue to do that. But I do want to show you the project, because I think this is a good illustration of why community solar is a bit of a difference maker in New Jersey. So this is the project that we proposed in Jersey City. So this is called extra space storage. That's why it's long like that. This is where, you rent those places to keep your stuff, right? I think in Jersey City, it's called U-Storage, but it's owned by Extra Space. So you see these solar panels right here. These solar panels that I'm dragging my cursor across, these were the panels that were already on the building. So this is a building that was being powered by solar. So when we reached out to them, they said, as everybody, we already have solar, we don't need solar. And we had to explain to them that community solar is different. The way that we did it was actually kind of funny, because our salesperson said to them, really, we just want to use Extra Space's Extra Space, because the name of the company is Extra Space. And the guy goes, what do you mean? We said, all this additional roof space you're not using, we just want to use your extra space. And they got it, and they agreed to do this. So this is a design that our engineers do to put these panels up here. Okay, so this is not a huge...
just to clarify, Kevin, are you saying that this is supplemental solar?
Yeah, so they're using these panels to panel their roof, and then what we've said to them is, allow us to use the rest of the roof. We'll pay you a lease payment. In this case, we paid them $60,000 a year, every year for 20 years, to allow us to be on their roof. And there was nothing up there. If something goes wrong with the roof, we help them take care of it. But this is the system.
This is something I just want to make. I want to insert something here.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, and Kevin will talk more about this offline, but we received a grant to do an urban heat island study in Jersey City. And one of the things that we've noted is that there are warehouses in Jersey City, or places like a Lowe's, right? Or these buildings that are generating extraordinary amounts of heat, almost 15 to 20 degrees hotter than in Liberty State Park, right? We've highlighted these on a map, and we're going to do the study because we've done this pre-assessment, but now we need the efficacy data, right? That's why you do a study, right? But if, to Kevin's point, we can top these warehouses with community solar projects, that is huge. That is so huge. And that's going to be our proposal, I can tell you right now, coming off of the study this summer, to the city of Jersey City. Right? So this is a perfect example. Thank you so much.
Sure. So just to give everybody an idea of the size of this roof, and what it would do, this roof top will power 90 homes. Apartments, homes. If they're big 4-bedroom homes, well, maybe 70 of them. If they're apartments, maybe 110, but you get the idea. Approximately 90 homes in Jersey City will be able to go 100% clean, green energy because of what we're doing here. Should this project get approved?
Where is that warehouse, by the way?
Look that up. It's on, begins with an M, and I can't even think. I should have put the address there. I apologize.
So do the next time, because you'll do this presentation for us again. So figure that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just looked it up earlier. I apologize.
Valerie, I just looked it up.
There you go. Valerie. I knew the M, but I couldn't. I'm getting old. I couldn't remember.
Woman. Okay.
So
that's over on the west side.
So here's what happens when we do this, just so everybody knows, because right now we're subscribing people in Jersey City, but we don't have a project in Jersey City. Okay, so the way you guys know more about community solar than anybody except people who do this for a living, right? But the way that these applications work is, here's what we can do. We can say in our application, we're going to use this project to just subscribe people in Jersey City, to subscribe people in Jersey City and bordering municipalities, or to subscribe Hudson County, anybody in Hudson County or any bordering counties. What the state wants us to do is the top one. So they will give us more points if we subscribe, if we agree that we're just going to subscribe people in Jersey City, which is what we did, because you want to score the highest points in those applications in order to get your project approved. Okay. Now, a lot of people in Jersey City, but if this were out in the country somewhere, as some of our projects are, we might say county and bordering counties because there's not enough people. It's a great big industrial roof and there's not enough people to subscribe that to. So there's a community solar application process. It's boring as heck. I don't want to go through the whole thing with you. The only thing I wanted to point out is this community engagement process that we're going through here with Deborah and SJC. This is 15 of the 100 points. So it's an important part of what we're doing. What the state says is they want to see you have a formal agreement or ongoing collaboration or effective partnership with your municipality or a nonprofit. In the case of our Jersey City project, we have an ongoing collaboration with Sustainable Jersey City, as well as a couple other nonprofits, NAACP and some others. And we also have municipal engagement. We have a resolution from the city. So we're excited about the possibility of this project. Now I'm going to close with just a couple of additional things. There are so many green energy jobs, and I know we have a young group here. And just to tell you about growth, because I know Deborah and I have talked about this previously. When I think about where we were 4 years ago, we probably had 40 employees. We're over 100 now. We have a finance team, CPA, and real high level finance people who have to figure out how we're going to pay for all these projects that we're building, right? And I believe that by the end of the month, we'll be six people strong. We have a 4-person legal team. We have 4 or I guess 5 now by the end of the month engineers. We have 55, almost 60 guys and gals up on the roof installing solar panels. And then we have operations, and we have, of course, sales. I'm in charge of the sales people, so our dopey sales crew, and there are people. Okay, they're not engineers. They're people. And then folks like Yvette who do the community engagement. But there are so many opportunities here. Sometimes when people think about solar, you think about, well, I have to put panels on the roof. How does that work exactly? Or do you drive a truck, or certainly could, and those folks do quite well. So to react to this, what we also did within the community is we started a workforce development program. And I want to talk to Deborah offline about your Eco Ambassador program, which I think is great. And even if we could help with that some way with some of the things you're doing, I think that'd be great. So we're really doing 3 things right now. We started off right before COVID with solar panel installation training. And what we did is we partnered with nonprofits, and we ended up doing a lot of work with Edison Job Corps, and our intention was diversity. So the whole point about community solar, right, is access for all and everything else. But what we learned from some studies that SEIA and some other organizations had done is the diversity in the workforce, both female and people of color, is not particularly good or admirable, and we need to work on that. So through the training that we did between the solar installation training, and also we did something called NAPSEP training, we were able to hire for our organization 5 students of color, and then place 11 others with kind of, we'll call them friendly competitors that we had. So the solar installation training, here's the great thing, because these projects are so big in New Jersey, they're subject to prevailing wage. So the students who went through Edison Job Corps and are working on our rooftop are making $63 an hour. That's a nice, sustainable wage for an individual or a family. So that's the first thing. We're going to continue to do that. We're partnering with GAF, and they have something called the Roofing Academy, and they help folks who are now coming back into the community because they've been incarcerated. They work with them. They work with returning veterans, and they're also, their intention is to help increase the diversity in roofing, and we'll be working with them to incorporate solar into their training. We also do classroom instruction on Wednesday. Yvette and I will be speaking to a group of juniors and seniors at Piscataway High School just to talk to them about some of the things we're going through with you today. And now we've begun our Green Energy Ambassador Program, which is really a college level program, and it has two parts to it. One of it is we're working with all the community colleges in New Jersey and with their association. And what we're attempting to do is identify students who are going for an associate's program to help them, if they want to be involved with green energy, to actually continue and get a full 4-year degree, and work with them to get them into the right situation and get them the right certifications to help them if they want to be in renewable energy. So that's what we're doing currently. If you want to find out more about it, our website is solarlandscape.com, and our enrollment website is gosolarlandscape.com. So kind of to sum this up.
So let me, before you sum it up,
Sure.
let me just say something. A couple of conversations I've had with neighborhood associations recently are talking about, well, there's a lot of development coming into our neighborhood, but it doesn't encompass what the sort of workforce, the diverse workforce that we want to see happen here. Or, we're interested in, what some of the vocational tracks for even college intended students who want to dual with, some, I would say private sector training alongside of their college career. There are neighborhood associations who are actually funding efforts to bring those opportunities to young people, and then also taking a stand about the developments that are going on in their neighborhood. So it seems like you align both with the diversity training and the education and vocational training of young people. So folks who are in the course who are active in their neighborhood associations or with the school district of Jersey City, just saying. I mean, these are ideas that triangulate with what we're trying to do as a community here. So just, listen in a little bit, because we can always invite Solar Landscape back to talk some more about this stuff.
Happy to, and happy to focus just on this if you want at some point in time in a shorter session, just to go through exactly what these three entail. And then if it makes sense, if someone wants to say, hey, can you work, let us know. My email is kevin@solarlandscape.com, KEVIN@solarlandscape.com. And Yvette is YVETTE@solarlandscape.com. If you want to find out more about these to potentially get involved, or you have a good idea for us or a school we should reach out to, we'd love it, please. And if you just want to stay in touch, Kevin, or ask me some questions or anything like that, I'm happy to help in any way.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So,
sorry to interrupt.
That's okay, Deborah. And I appreciate it, actually. Here's the final on this. This is a brand new state initiative in New Jersey. I think it's something that it's also new to people right now that they're still kind of scratching their head about it. In 2 or 3 years, I think this is going to be like nothing, like anything else that we do, like putting gas in your car or hopefully charging your car at a charging station. Somebody said to me today, the reason electric cars caught off today is that Tesla made going green cool. I thought that was interesting, that because we were talking about Tesla and how expensive they are, but how cool those cars look and how we've all test driven them, and a couple of guys were talking about getting them, but suddenly it's like this a Prius. Who wants to have a Prius? But you can actually be really cool and drive a Tesla too. Now everybody wants to do this. So I think this is all happening, Deborah. And you were on top of it. We talked about it, and honestly, Deborah knew way more about this than any other nonprofit we spoke with. But it's happening, and I think it's exciting for everybody. So it's a brand new. It's about access for all apartments, condos, high rises. Anybody can have it. One of the nice things that the state did is they're making sure we're taking care of low and moderate income households. That's the LMI I should have explained earlier. Everyone, I want to say this. For Deborah's group, for anybody who enrolls with the Sustainable Jersey City, the SJC code, next year, all the discounts are going up to 20% for new enrollees. That doesn't mean that other people are going to move up. If you enroll with SJC, we're going to automatically increase you to 20%.
Wowzy, Kevin. Hey, that's pretty great because right now, LMI, low and moderate income, that's a new term you guys learned tonight, right? Are at 15%. Non-LMIs are at 10. So now we're saying, let's lean in, let's jump on this baby, and we're going to get 20% next year.
Absolutely. 20% every single year.
Ah, love it. Thank you.
Well, you can think of that. That was her idea.
Thanks, Yvette.
I just got it. Yeah. So, everybody can enroll online. Again, there's no long-term contracts. Just go to Go Solar Landscape if you just want to get a feel for it. You don't actually have to enroll, but you can start the process and kind of look at it. There's also a couple really good videos you can look at there.
Right, and isn't there like a promo code? They can't just go to Go Solar Landscape.
Go solarlandscape.com, but the promo code is SL SJC.
Solar Landscape.
SL is for
SJC.
Yep.
Sorry, and then what is that? That gives us the discount as well as that $100 gift card, or what does that promo get us?
Yes, both. So the gift, so that thing,
and this is 20% off your electricity cost. So it's not your whole utility bill. Understand that your utility bill is made up of a couple of different components, right? So it's off your electricity cost.
So immediately when you enroll, it's a $100 gift card. And then you'll start out either 10% or 15%. As soon as the round 2 projects start, we go to 20%. Everybody which is only a couple months from now, by the way, when we get the okays on those, everybody jumps up to 20% who uses that code. Okay. And then of course, there's a donation to the organization as well. So that's my little talk. Does anyone have any questions or anything else that they want to cover?
There's some questions in the chat. I'm not sure if you can see the chat.
I cannot.
Ash, can you do that?
Sure. Give me a second.
Thank you. Kevin, that was great. Much appreciated.
I was one of the questions, so I can just say my question.
I see the chat now. Okay.
Are you also trying to obtain leases of any land that corporations have? Are you only doing rooftops?
That's a great question. And we've done landfills across the tri-state area. For the first round, we only did rooftop. For the second round, we only did rooftop with a couple carports. We did carports as well. For the third round, we're absolutely doing that. Here's what we found. We found that in the right situation with brownfields and landfills, they got priority. And if you're doing it with the municipality, Deborah, right to the front of the queue. If you have a municipality that wants to do it, unless somehow they screwed up the application, they got approved. So it's a great question, and we realized that we were probably missing the boat.
What does that mean? What does that mean if you're doing it with the municipality, Kevin?
In other words, if, for example, Hoboken has made a decision that they're going to do a project for round 2. So what they did is they send in an application, but a municipality doesn't have to say necessarily what building they're going to do yet, just that they're going to do a project and that they want to get approved for it. That's the way it worked for the first 2 rounds. I don't think that'll happen for the third round. But let's say that Jersey City had some rooftop space and they wanted to do it, and they worked with a developer because it's the municipality itself that's involved. So the municipality will be the owner of the property. Those projects went right to the front of the queue.
Oh, okay.
So yes, we'll be doing.
It would be worth inquiring where the municipality stands on that.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be doing land for round 3 for sure.
Okay. So not for anything, there was a recent request that came to us. SJC has regional relationships, right, outside of Jersey City and outside the state. And there seems to be an interest in, and especially if you think about New Jersey, the green state, right? South Jersey in particular. You have a lot of food growing going on, and you have farmers who are rotating fields. So the question was, is any of this mobile? Can there be a mobile community solar installation that gets rotated on farmland? Was the question I got yesterday.
Well, to explain the mobile part, Deborah.
So you have something that's very, current now, regenerative farming, which is that people, have 6 fields, and what they do is each year they rotate so that they're only planting 5. On that last field, can they put a mobile community solar unit? And can that be rotated each year? And because farms nowadays are sort of going into business with each other to save on costs and create some efficiencies in the market, you have these farmer cooperatives. So you have 6 farms together who each have 6 fields, each are rotating after planting only 5 fields a year. Is there an opportunity to put a mobile community solar installation on that level? I didn't know how to answer that question.
No, I wouldn't know either. Probably one of our engineers would. The funny thing is, a few years ago, the idea of putting solar panels, floating solar panels was ridiculous. And now there's floating solar panels are in New Jersey where the panels are actually going in the water. So to your point, because that's so important in farming, yeah, I bet you someone figures it out. It's not going to be easy. It's probably,
It's called
but,
mobile. It's just mobile. It can be a fixed installation for a year, and then you move it to the one field.
Yeah, there'd be some costs involved for sure, but it'd be interesting to see if they could do that.
Right. And I mean, it's huge because those farmers need some subsidies, right? And it's an interesting business proposition, which we can talk more about offline. Okay. Is that everything, Kevin?
I think so. Yes, if you have third-party energy, you still get the discount. I see that question from David. We have to give you 20% less than whatever your lowest cost is. The third-party energy there's been some good and some bad. I think in theory it was good. I think there were some bad actors out there, and then some people found themselves in contracts they couldn't get out of, which is why we don't have except a month-to-month contract with us. And then in a couple situations, people said I ended up paying more than PSE&G. So then when everybody gets these things in their mail at home, they go, "Oh, this is third-party energy." It's not. But with community solar, for our purposes, just want to point out one thing: there are 3 projects of our 8 that we are subscribing in Jersey City, and I'm not being that guy saying, "Do it now." They're filling up quickly. 2 of them are full. One of them is probably 60%. So if this is something that you think that you may want to do, I wouldn't wait more than a few weeks. I would try to act now because it's nice to get that $100 and it's nice to lock your spot in. The one we have not subscribed completely is the one that's in Perth Amboy, but we're only subscribing Perth Amboy and Woodbridge. People were in Perth Amboy and Woodbridge. That one's pretty open.
And you guys, I mean, not for anything, you're on a learning curve, right? So we're throwing you in the water here. We're telling you, hey, this is a good thing. If you want to bake a bit, we're going into the next phase of this in the state, right? So there's going to be more solar landscape projects. If you're not going to jump in the pond, we'll be back at you, right? And we'll keep you informed about what's available.
Exactly. Thank you.